Welcome to another episode of Eye on IMS as we look forward to the 2023 International Microwave Symposium this year in San Diego, the week of June 11th. I'm Gary LaRue of Microwave Journal, and I'm joined by David Vai, the Senior Product Marketing Manager at Cadence Design Systems. Welcome, David. It's good to see you again.
Hi, Gary. It's great to see you again, too. Thanks for having me.
Sure. Well, today we want to focus on two of the programs at IMS, the MicroApps and the Industry Workshops. To start, for those not familiar with IMS or those programs, what are they?
Well, I'd say the Industry Workshop is a relatively new addition to the IMS program. I'll start with the MicroApps because it's been around for a while, but it has seen a transition from some years ago to what it is today. And basically that's a forum that's on the show floor, and it's an opportunity for exhibitors to present in a very short form. I think it's a 15-minute duration. Some of their latest technologies for the audience. So it's open to anyone who's walking around the floor and wants to take a break from visiting with vendors and sit in on a very short overview or latest capabilities from some of their favorite vendors on what they're presenting at any particular year's IMS.
And then the workshops?
And then the workshop. The workshop is kind of a longer form, and I believe it can run up to 2 hours. I've participated in a few of them, and we've usually try to put together a program that was anywhere between an hour and 2 hours. It might stitch together a couple of themes, but it really gives the people who participate in the industry workshop a little more time to go more in depth. It's probably more tutorial of nature, and would be more like what you would expect a workshop that would go that length. So it could be very comparable to say a webinar that somebody might present, and just kind of talk about a new technology or a new solution, something that's been enhanced, and how it impacts designs and designers.
So why would a company find them beneficial from your perspective?
What separates the workshops, I'll focus on the workshops, from all the great content that is at an IMS. All the part of the regular program is all vetted and peer reviewed, and usually represents the latest in research of technology coming down the road. The industry workshop is really an opportunity for companies to be a little more commercial in what they're presenting. It can be product specific. I would advise for companies who submit and participate, and I do believe they do need to be approved by the organizing committees, but it is more commercial in nature. And in that sense, it's probably more practical in terms of applied engineering and solutions that companies can adopt today, as opposed to, I think the conference might be more about kind of deep research and latest results, and just more on the R&D side. This is more practical in terms of applied engineering practices.
That makes sense. So if I'm a company thinking about participating broadly, what are the steps and deadlines for this?
Well, the IMS makes it pretty easy, and maybe I've just done it enough that it seems easy to me. But if you go to the IMS website, among the listings of areas that one can participate, they do clearly mark the links to the MicroApps and the industry workshops, where you can get more information, understand the format, what they're looking for, and the criteria, and also the submission form. So that it's highly automated in how to submit an abstract title, and then if you're approved and accepted, which is always an exciting day when you get the green light, then you'll get the information with regards to when you need to upload your materials and be ready. Say for the MicroApps, all those are preloaded, and they've got an IT team, a tech team that has all the presentations loaded. So you just show up and give your talk, and so they need those prior to the event. So all the deadlines and information, it's well mapped out and pretty easy to follow.
Oh, that's good. Well, you've mentioned a couple times about being vetted, and I suspect there are probably more proposals maybe than time
Mhm.
slots available. So, what would be your guidance that would make an industry workshop or micro apps attractive to the vetting committee, and anything that you would say to avoid?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's best if your subject is topical, relevant. If it's addressing a very specific problem or challenge that the industry is facing, so you should try to make your case in your abstract. I'd steer away from sounding too commercial and that it's a product pitch. I think you run the risk of coming across as not the right kind of content that they're looking for. And I think by applying that higher standard to this content, we ensure that we don't turn away the audience. We don't make them, you know, feel that it's not worth their time, and so that we do attract the audience. And so I think if you want to get approved and accepted into either the micro apps or an industry workshop, be relevant, be pretty clear about what the value is to the audience and its importance, what you're presenting.
So, no pure sales pitch, probably some educational tutorial
Mhm.
information and soft marketing.
That's correct. I think they're very nice about loosening up the rules a bit so that you can mention products, but I always do it in the context of why are we talking about this particular product. You know, if you can genericize the solution across multiple vendors, that's fine too.
Mm.
But if you are bringing something unique to the table by way of your company or the product, I think it's a fair game to mention that because it's educational. It's information that
Right.
the customers or the end user needs to know when making a decision about, say what tool they're going to use, what measurement equipment they're going to use, what parts to adopt. Maybe a foundry might be presenting their latest process, and we'll be talking about it in terms of its technical performance, and then how people can use that to achieve different design results. And so yeah, they would be talking very specifically about their own products, but in the context of how an end user will use it to achieve their own goals.
Well, the micro apps and the industry workshops are two of many ways that companies can participate in IMS. If we talk more broadly, why would you say, as we come out of the pandemic and kind of return to in-person conferences, why is IMS a must-attend event for the industry?
Well, I think you just said it there. With it's just so wonderful to get out of the office. And I've been going to IMS for 20 years or more, and the only break I had was the 2 years of the pandemic. And so I came back for the Denver event, and it was a great show for myself and for my
Yeah.
company Cadence as well. We had 3 years away, so there's a lot of developments that we were able to show. The traffic was high in our booth. What we had to show was quite impactful. Certainly, since we've only been talking about it and showing it to people by way of Zoom calls and whatnot, the face-to-face and the exchange that you have between vendors and their customers is just so much, orders of magnitude more impactful than they are through by way of Zoom and remote. So, and then IMS is just the biggest of its kind. There's no larger gathering of like-minded technology-wise people, all focused on different aspects of RF and microwave technology. And from my perspective and what Cadence does, what changes with microwave over time is just how people are implementing it.
Mm.
So, we're being challenged to integrate more and reduce costs and commercialize a lot of technology that was originally developed for much more expensive aerospace defense platforms. We're now challenged with how do we commercialize that? And then the market opportunities for that are tremendous. They outpace the as large as aerospace and defense market is. They outpace that with 5G, IoT, 6G coming down the road. So there's a lot of technical challenges, and I can't think of a better place to go meet the people who are driving those challenges or have the need for a particular solution to go and learn find out things you weren't even looking for or were aware of. I mean, for me, you think you're looking for something, you only know to search for what you are looking for.
Right.
To stumble upon something you didn't even know existed, IMS is going to be that kind of a place where you walk away with, you didn't even know these technologies were being worked on, or it's just it's really good. I think it's the best.
Well, that's well put. And there's so many different things emerging in the industry from a technology standpoint as well as business that it's hard to keep up with it all. And IMS, you get a good cross current of it.
You certainly do.
So anything else that we should touch on before we wrap up?
Well, I think we covered quite a bit, but I'm really looking forward to San Diego this year, right? So that's a nice venue. I don't think I've been there in a few years, so I'm looking forward to that. And I do like the new push towards, I don't know that a lot has been said about it, but push towards starting to incorporate more system focus within the IMS. A lot of us, my own self personally, have been very focused on, apart from EDA, is component design, but taking a systemic look at incorporating more system content into the IMS program is a very exciting innovation that the organizers are trying to do. I'm pleased to be participating in some of the brainstorming on that, and I think it's going to really serve the industry quite well. And keep it fresh. Keep it fresh. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, thank you, David, for sharing your experience and insight with us today.
Sure, Gary. It was a pleasure to talk to you again.
And we hope to see everyone at IMS 2023 in San Diego, June 11th through the 16th. Bring your surfboard.